You know, I was going to say something along the lines of this has been a long time coming, but apart from that already being done to death, this game's subtitle has me covered in all things time pun related. Speaking of time, little history lesson for those who don't know. My first Crash Bandicoot game was Crash of the Titans in 2007, shortly followed by The Wrath of Cortex. And yeah, that was some serious whiplash if you were wondering. I got around to the original trilogy in 2012, starting with Crash 2, and it wasn't long at all before they became some of my favorite platformers. I was just as happy as everyone else seeing Crash make a comeback with the Insane trilogy and CTR Nitro Fueled. And though those games flirted with new ideas, I was still itching to see something completely new from the series, and also hoped I wouldn't have to buy a next-gen console just to play it. Well, my wildest dreams came true when on my birthday of all days, news broke of Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time, and I couldn't believe it. Also couldn't believe Toys for Bob was in charge of this outing either. I thought they'd still be recovering from Spyro Reignited, but after seeing their work on that game, they had my complete trust. In the lead up to release, I got to try the demo and got a review code the day before the game came out, and I am very grateful for that. I had a strong suspicion I was gonna like this game going in, but even as a seasoned Crash veteran, I never imagined what this adventure had in store. First off, let's go over the general presentation. Each level in this game tells a story, and they all feel completely thought out. They're also more cinematic than before. Getting through the first level and seeing what awaits at the top of Insanity Peak is booming and foreboding. And right after that, you've got the greatest intro to a Crash chase sequence ever, booking it from a giant spiritual monster. Each world also has a certain theme, but nothing overstays its welcome and has more to it than just Ice World or Dino World. Mosquito Marsh was definitely my favorite. Playing through Offbeat and taking in all the sights and sounds, oh, that level is a blast. As I was playing through Crash 4, I started to feel things I've only felt with a certain other platformer. And if you know me, you probably know what it is already. I always saw the old Crash games as a 3D take on Donkey Kong Country. And if you asked me if Crash 4 felt like the series' answer to Donkey Kong Country Returns or Tropical Freeze, I'd say heck yeah. Even the map system, while a callback to Crash 1, gave off some serious Donkey Kong vibes, and I am all for that. And look, in the first level, when you mess with the TV, it shows logos from past games. Like, come on, how can I not compare the two? With Crash 4's story taking place right after Warped, I hoped they'd pay attention to how it would fit in the timeline, and without spoiling too much, it was done perfectly. All the additions to lore past and present were handled with care, and there's so many Easter eggs and cameos that if you've played some of the mainline Crash games in the past, you're gonna be very happy to see them. The flashback tapes, alongside being a fun challenge, were some of the best bits of world building. They chronicle Crash and Coco's time in Cortex's lab before escaping, with log dates leading to Crash 1's real-world release and music ripped straight from the original games. And in Coco's first tape, the Warp Room music from Crash 2 plays. The Warp Room is one of my favorite tracks in all of gaming, and I was really happy to hear the original here. It's also great seeing Crash 4 embrace the style of animation the series was originally inspired by. Crash himself takes heavy cues from classic Warner Brothers characters, and from the minute you start the game, they make that fact very clear. I'd say this is my favorite rendition of Crash so far. He's that perfect balance of complete goofball but not a total idiot, and you just want to give him a big old hug. Everything else is wonderfully bouncy and full of squash and stretch, and all the cutscenes are so much fun to watch. The soundtrack has its highs and its lows, but mostly highs. When I was actually playing, there weren't too many tunes that immediately caught my ear, but after listening to the tracks on their own, I gotta say they're all very well put together. Comparing Crash to DKC again, some tracks are more quiet and atmospheric, with others being loud and bombastic. Lots of tracks have different segments depending on where you are in the level, and there's callbacks to old Crash tunes sprinkled throughout the score. Great stuff all around. Onto the voice acting, there's a mix and match of veteran Crash actors and all new voices. Aku Aku, Cortex, Engine, and Dingo Dial's actors reprised their roles from previous games, but others like Embryo, Entropy, and even Crash and Coco don't. This is the first time since Wrath of Cortex where Debbie Derryberry isn't Coco, and that tripped me up a bit. The new guys do a good job, but I kinda wanna know the reasons behind this change-up. And it's even more confusing when Crash's previous actor, Jess Harnell, is promoting the game when he's not even in it, but whatever. Crash 4's structure reminds me of the first Sly Cooper game, which, in a weird twist, was seen as an evolution of the Crash formula. Here we've got classic hallway sections and stuff that's more open-ended, including branching paths and the slightest bit of camera control. It won't do too much for you, but it is very welcome. Then there's rail grinding segments and wall running bits, and the game's biggest addition, the 4 quantum masks. Each one adds a layer of puzzle solving, and the game's not shy about using more than one in a level, or even all of them. Sometimes the masks combine with an aforementioned gameplay style, and things get crazy fun when that happens. The one that stops time, Kapunawa, was my favorite, whereas the anti-gravity one, Ika Ika, made me the most anxious. Then we have the alternate levels, which are a cool concept. Playing with another character through a different perspective is great, but when that segment's done, it sends you back to a level you previously played. They do have different crate placements, and the bonus levels get a radical change up, but if you just finished that level earlier, it can be a bit of a burnout. With that said, aside from their intro levels, they're all totally optional, so tackle them whenever you feel like it. Out of the 3 new playable characters, I liked Dingodile the most. He's always been one of my favorite Crash villains, and hearing he retired after the 3rd game and opened up a diner, that is so great. That's the kind of stuff that makes me care so much more about what I'm doing in a game. Tana was my second favorite playstyle, and Cortex came in last. Not that his stuff wasn't fun, but just the other playstyles were more fun for me, and I do wish he had some kind of double jump. Then there's Inverted Mode, and it's one of the most interesting mirror modes I've seen in a game. Not all of the remixed levels are winners, but some were changed in such a way where I ended up preferring them to the original. My favorites were the ones where the level's just a blank canvas and you slowly bring back its color. I've never played De Blob, but it reminded me of De Blob. Now I'm sure you're already aware of this, but I want to go over just how difficult this game is. I swear, Toys for Bob must have looked at Tropical Freeze and decided that wasn't tough enough for Crash. Dude, this is Tropical Freeze on steroids. By the time I was close to the end, there was stuff thrown my way where all I could do was laugh and think, you cannot expect me to do this. Are you insane? And so many times, I thought I was done with a level just to be greeted by another checkpoint and say, there's more? Oh no. Crash 4 doesn't kid with the rewards either. You want to get yourself a cool looking costume or every single gem on a level? You gotta work for it. Even the bonus stages, which once served as a break from the action, turned into some real mental torture. I spent a good 10 to 20 minutes on some of the later ones, and there were tons of times where I'd search a stage high and low, sometimes upwards to half an hour or more, only to be told I missed a single box, and that's the stuff true rage is made of. You know, in Crash 2, that hidden box in Cold Hard Crash's bonus level, there's a lot of that going on here, and good lord it'll make you paranoid. I try to beat every Crash game 100% if I feel like it. I've done it with the Naughty Dog games, Wrath of Cortex, even Titans, but this is the first time where I've been legit scared to try. Remember when I said this game was like Tropical Freeze in terms of challenge? Well, in terms of completion, this makes Donkey Kong 64 blush. There's the time relics, the insanely perfect relics, the tapes, the box gems, hidden gems, inverted gems, colored gems. Little side note, I found the yellow one here by complete happenstance, and if I didn't look up where to find the others, I would have never found them on my own. Going after the blue gem, I thought I was gonna be left a sobbing mess, but I actually got it pretty easily, all things considered. And for 106% completion, I think I'll pass. Took me an hour just to get the platinum for the first level, and I don't have the threshold for that kind of pain. You've heard it from people crazier than me, but don't stress trying to get everything because it will destroy you. If anyone wants to talk about the nightmare that is the final gem route in the game, I'm here for you. Just let it all out. As for anything else I wasn't too fond of, all that comes to mind are the load times, which range anywhere from 20 seconds to a full-blown minute. It's a real turnoff when going for flashback tapes, considering you can only get one in a level without dying. Often I would start a level just to die 10 seconds into something stupid, then had to wait another 30-something seconds to try again. And I don't know how it was for everyone else, but my PS4 Pro could get loud when this game was running. I even left the game paused for 10 minutes, and when I came back it smelled like something was on fire, but maybe that's just a me issue. The problem seems to have solved itself over time, whatever it was. I've been aware of Toys for Bob since I first played Madagascar on PS2, and I always thought that was an above-average game. But to see them all these years later handle Spyro and now Crash with such care and expertise, it's amazing! The amount of ideas they put out here that stick the landing and feel like they always should have been here, I'd expect that from a team who made something like this before, but color me even more impressed. Time will tell if this becomes my favorite Crash game, but I do think it's the best in the series. And in terms of recent platformers, it's up there with Tropical Freeze and Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair to make the holy trinity of platforming excellence. Definitely give this game your attention, but again, just take it easy. There's no pressure if you don't collect everything, and you'll have much more fun just playing it without a care. I'm just glad this game exists and that it turned out as awesome as it did. I think Crash can take take a little break now before whatever he goes on to next, but after waiting for what felt like forever, it's great seeing the Bandicoots back in business. It's about time indeed. Hey there guys, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you did, feel free to give this video a like, share with a friend, subscribe, check out my social media pages, my Patreon page, all that good stuff that I always ramble on about. And if any of you guys out there have played Crash 4, tell me, what do you think about it? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're here, feel free to take a look at the videos I got on screen. I mean, I enjoyed making them, hopefully you'll enjoy watching them. And with all that said, I will see you guys next time. You see what I did there? Because it's about time. Whatever. See you later.